Hey YouTube, Patface the Blackwing here with my friend Buzzcut Cliff, and he wants to show us a deck. What's your deck called?
This is my Gravekeeper's deck.
Yeah, let's check it out.
So, hey, my name is Buzzcut Cliff, and I'm going to show you my deck. I have 3 Gravekeeper Descendants. What I like to do with these is I like to tribute my Recruiter, ideally, and go for my Commandant and discard my Commandant from my hand, and then I like to pull out Necro Valley. So that's my strategy with this. Also, what I could do, and I'll show you later what else I could do. So, I got 3 spies. So this is the other thing. What I like to do is I have these in defense position because they're a flip summon, and what it summons is something from my deck. It actually puts it onto the field in attack position. So what I'd like to do is sacrifice. I like to tribute this with my Descendant, and then I'll go for the Recruiter or another spy depending on the situation and the strategy that I need. Okay, I've got a Gravekeeper Assailant, and if Necro Valley is on the field when I declare an attack, I can put the person into the battle position. So basically it depends on if I think that they have lower attack points than defense points, whether I use that. But I definitely want Necro Valley out when I'm playing that. And plus, because it's Gravekeeper, Necro Valley actually adds 500 attack and 500 defense to everything, so definitely Necro Valley is good for this deck. I've got 3 Recruiters, and I already talked about Recruiters. I've got 3 Commandants, and I already talked about the Commandant. What I like about him also is that he's a 1600 attack. I've got a Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind, which is a tuner, which is awesome. Now this thing, when I attack a card, it actually puts that monster at half defense and half attack, so that's pretty sweet. And because it's a tuner, I can use it to special summon, and I'll show you more about that later. This is my dad, and what's great about this guy is that there's 3 dark monsters that need to be in the graveyard in order for me to special summon him, and I'll talk more about that later. This is my Gravekeeper's Guard. Basically, this guy, I can flip summon this guy, so that's why I have him in defense position, and I can talk more about that. Like, if I, use my, I can talk more about that, but if I use my Descendant, stuff like that, if he gets hurt, something. Alright, I've got my Gravekeeper's Visionary. This guy's just a really strong guy. Now, I've got 3 Necro Valleys, and I already talked about Necro Valleys. I've got 2 Potted Dualities. I've got 2 Gravekeeper Stellies. Now, I mentioned that I was going to talk about my dad card before. Basically, with this taking 2 cards that are Gravekeepers out of the graveyard, I just take 2 Dark Gravekeepers out if I have 5 dark cards in the graveyard, and then I can pull out my DAD if I'm in that type of situation.
But you don't use the effect of Dad, because Dad, with Necro Valley prevents it from being removed from play. You just basically use it as a beater, right?
Right. Good call. Thank you, Patface. So I've got my Royal Tribute here. Now, this can only be activated when Necro Valley is on the field, and what happens here is both players discard all their monsters. Now, this could help me get out my dad. It could also, if I use, there's going to be a trap card that I show you later on, and basically I'll come back to this point, but I can actually look at my opponent's deck with this particular trap card, his hand, I mean, and I can tell you more about that when I get to it. But this is great because I can get rid of my opponent's monsters, and also I might be able to use this to pull out my dad also. So this is a great card. I use this, I equip my Recruiter with this so I can get its special ability, which is 3 cards put into my hand from Okay.
That's when you equip it to recruiter. You destroy recruiter after attacking. Then you just send it to the graveyard, and you get the draw cards. You get draw 2 cards. Then you get recruiter's effect. Right.
Right.
That's cool. That's very great.
Yeah, I like that. All right, I've got a Book of Moon. Got Heavy Storm. Got a Dark Hole. I've got 3 MSTs.
Yes. Why do you have 3 MSTs? Because of heavy back row.
Yeah, sometimes people have a really, good deck of spells and trap cards, so these are really good to have for, especially with my Necro Valley being part of my strategy. I've got 2 Bottomless. I've got a Torrential Tribute. I've got a Mirror Force. I've got Rite of the Spirit. Let me talk a little bit about this. I get to select a monster card that includes Gravekeepers in its name from my graveyard and special summon it. And Necro Valley doesn't affect this. So let's say I had 4 dark monsters in my graveyard and I was trying to get out my dad. This would help me out. This card I also had alluded to. This is called Trap Dust Shoot. Now, basically, this says, here, I'll just read it. You can activate this card only when your opponent has 4 or more cards in his/her hand. Look at your opponent's hand, then select 1 monster card and return it to the owner's deck. The deck is then shuffled. So basically, this can also help me. Like, what I'll do is I'll see if they have a lot of monsters in their hand, and if so, I can use that other card that I talked about earlier.
Royal Tribute?
The Royal Tribute, yeah.
That's cool. That's a good strategy.
Thanks, man. This is called my, what do I call this?
Solemn Brigade?
Yeah, this is my Solemn Brigade. So I've got 2 Solemn Warnings, so I only use these if I have plenty of life points or if I'm in a jam. And of course, I have my Solemn Judgment. This I only use when I'm really down to the wire or when it's going to be attack for game. Now I'm going to do my Synchros and my...
extra deck.
Yeah, this is my extra deck. It's Synchros and... Exceeds. Synchros first. Exceeds first. Okay, I've got the number 20 Giga Brilliant. I've got the Wind Up Zen Meister. And I've got the number 39 Utopia. Alright. Now I've got these guys. The Flamevel. How do you pronounce that again? Urquisis. I've got the Gaia Knight, the Force of the Earth, and I also have the Tempest Magician. So again, my name is Buzzcut Cliff, and what am I doing?
Check him out on his channel. Yeah. Check for Substitute's channel. He has also pretty good dance music too.
Yeah. So yeah, check out my channel. I'm gonna hand it back over to
Yeah, check out Buzzcut Cliff at locals. He might be at locals again sometime, and he's a pretty good player. And he's an up and coming Yu-Gi-Oh player. He'll be doing good. So Pat Face Blackwing saying peace out and rock on.